Every time you play through something and make the same mistake you have always made, you are not failing to fix it, you are actively making it permanent. This is not motivational framing, it is how motor learning actually works. Your hands do not know the difference between the right version and the wrong version. They learn whatever you repeat. If you repeat the mistake enough times, it stops feeling like a mistake. It starts feeling like the song. And then one day someone points it out and you cannot hear what they're talking about because your hands have been playing that version for 6 months and your brain has filed it under correct. The only way out of this is to catch the mistake before it becomes invisible, which means slowing down enough that you can hear it happening in real time. Most people practice at a speed where the mistake goes by too fast to fully register and too slow to sound like the real thing. That speed is the worst possible speed to practice at. It is fast enough to reinforce the error and slow enough to feel like you're not making real progress. Find the speed where you can hear every note clearly as it happens. Practice there. The mistake will be obvious. Good, that is the point. You cannot fix something you cannot hear. Most people sit down to practice with a vague intention to get better. That intention is not a plan. You cannot make progress toward better. Better is not a destination, it is a direction. And practicing in a direction without a specific target is how you stay in motion without going anywhere. Before you pick up the guitar, you need to know one specific thing you were trying to improve. Not a song, not a technique in the abstract. One measurable thing. The transition from C to G that falls apart every time. The hammer-on in Gar 4 of the thing you've been learning for 3 weeks. The specific moment in the solo where your hand tenses up and the note dies. When you have a target that specific, you know when the session is working and you know when it's not. You can hear whether you're getting closer. You can stop when you've made actual progress instead of stopping when you've run out of time or motivation. The session has a shape instead of just a duration. Vague practice produces vague results. Specific practice produces specific results. The difference in outcomes between someone who practices with a clear target and someone who does not is not subtle. After 6 months, it's the difference between a player and someone who has been playing for 6 months. If this is landing, saving this video costs you nothing and means we can keep making stuff like it. Small channel, real effort, genuinely appreciated. There's a thing that happens when you've played a piece enough times that your hands mostly know it. You stop listening to what's actually coming out of the guitar and start listening to the version of it that exists in your head, the ideal version, the one that sounds like you want it to sound. And your brain, being helpful in the worst possible way, starts filling in the gaps between what you are playing and what you intend to play so that the two feel closer together than they are. This is why you can practice something for weeks and still be shocked when you hear a recording of it. The recording is not lying. You have just never actually heard yourself play it before. You've been listening to the version in your head the whole time. Record yourself. Not to post it, not to perform, just to hear what's actually happening. Play something you think you have down. Listen back. There will be things in the recording that are not in the version you thought you were playing. A note that doesn't ring, a transition that clips, a rhythm that is slightly uneven in a way you never felt from the inside. Those things were always there. You just couldn't hear them because you were too close to the playing to hear the sound. The recording gives you distance. Distance gives you accuracy. Accuracy gives you something real to work on instead of the imaginary problem of not being good enough in a general sense. You already know what it is. There's a specific thing on the guitar that you are not as good at as everything else you play. You know it because you feel a small amount of relief every time you get through a practice session without having to deal with it. You avoid it without making a decision to avoid it. You just find other things to work on that feel more productive and more satisfying and happen to not be the thing. This is completely normal, and it's the main reason people stop improving. The thing you're avoiding is the ceiling. Everything else you work on is below it. You can get incrementally better at the stuff you're already decent at for the rest of your life and never move the ceiling, because the ceiling is the specific thing you are not doing. It doesn't move on its own. It only moves when you go directly at it and spend enough uncomfortable time there that it stops being the hard thing and becomes one of the normal things. And then there will be a new hard thing. There is always a new hard thing. The players who keep improving are not the ones who find this easy. They're the ones who have accepted that the hard thing is always there and have stopped treating its existence as a reason to do something else. You know what it is. Go work on that. If anything in here helped you see something you weren't seeing before, a like or a share genuinely helps this channel reach the people who need to hear it. We're not a big operation, we're just trying to make something useful. Appreciate you being here.